This is taking forever. Time to stop pissing around and get this big guy back into action.
Oh man! Good plan, Duke. Oh man! That is... I mean, I don't understand any of it, but I bet if I did, that guy over there would still have his arm. And at least one of his balls.
What is happening, everyone? I'm your host, Shibby2142. I'm going to be reviewing Duke Nukem Forever on the PC. Let's just say this right now, that this game is raunchy, vile, naughty, violent, lots of swearing, and just general madness, a lot like my ex-wife. Anyways, this is kind of the intro to the game, laying it down like a boss. But anyways, I'm running this game on max settings so I can show you guys everything that 2K put in this game so you can see all the beautifulness. It does look a little dated at times, but that's because it should have came out years ago and we all know that. So let's get to the review.
You must make a good hero sandwich, cause you're giving me a foot long.
No.
Up the middle, Blake, flank left. Phillips and I head around. That's step 2. Step 3 is,
Prophet?
Right! You ready? 1, 2, break!
You ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this.
You're my boy, Blue.
Beer makes me strong. Well, beer does make Duke stronger in the game. You do get a little beer goggle fuzz there. I'm gonna try not and spoil anything for you guys, or at least try my best. So this is the first introduction to the boss battle. You may have seen this footage already. I believe it aired at E3 or something like that. Anyways, the boss battles. Very Duke Nukem-esque that you shoot the boss and you kind of circle strafe at the same time. So that's what you should expect. The boss battles are probably one of the best parts of the game. And that's not really saying much, but anyways, you're pretty much just gonna have to circle strafe and look for ammo. So expect that. Don't be thinking it's gonna be some huge tactical flanker that you have to call in airstrikes while your recon team is shooting sniper rounds.
A turd in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
So the storyline in this game is that the aliens are stealing the babes, and Duke is not happy with that. He is not pleased. So don't expect the story to be super strong or well told. It is kind of chaotic and does not make sense from time to time, but that's Duke Nukem, so I wasn't expecting some kind of Fallout or Oblivion-esque story on this game, so that's fine. So I tried my best to follow the story, trying to figure out where the characters are really coming from, but other than Duke, really no one has any like heart or really worth to really care who they are. But that really doesn't bother me, so that didn't really factor in what I think of this game.
It's good.
Another gameplay mechanic that this uses often is the rail shooter, quote unquote, where either you're in a turret or you're on a vehicle of some sort and it's just going to carry you throughout a little sequence and you have to shoot the enemies and all that great stuff. So those are average. I mean, it's a good little mix-up of pace between either driving or boss battles or just regular just running gunning. So that's alright. Turret sequences were never a wow. There was no crazy boss that would be chasing after me or anything like that. It was pretty easy and self-explanatory.
Dear Diary, jackpot.
Oh, Monsieur Duke, you have been working so hard. Now get out of those dirty clothes.
So that wasn't dirty enough for me, so I'm gonna go monster truck in the desert. There are plenty of driving sequences in Duke Nukem Forever. They're okay. This monster truck driving sequence that will probably take you about an hour off and on with shooting and whatnot is actually pretty good. It reminds me of Borderlands, which 2K did work on that, so that makes sense. There was an RC car sequence coming up here.
I know right where I'd stick him. Sweet! It really is you, Duke!
Duke also gets a chance to drive RC cars. It's painful. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little drawn out, and I'm kind of like, why is this in here? Duke does get shrunk down. That's one of the mechanics in the game that I will show you later on in this video, which is also kind of painful, I'm not gonna lie. But it's alright. So you get to drive this RC car inside this casino/hotel. Here's the aliens stealing the babes. I don't know, kind of a little teleport action there. You also get to drive this lift for platforming and solving puzzles. My complaint with this is the controls are clunky.
This thing sucks.
And that is one thing I really do enjoy about Duke Nukem Forever is Duke never takes himself too seriously. And that's my kind of humor. Another mechanic of Duke Nukem Forever is the physics-based puzzles, kind of like Half-Life 2, it's what it reminds me of, except not as good, because Duke Nukem Forever is kind of a retro/modern game, and it feels like it's in a limbo. That's the best way I can explain it. And that's one thing that's kind of unfortunate about this game, is that there's been too much market progress with games these days, which sets the game up for failure, really. And that's kind of a shame, but I'm just, you know, happy that this game actually came out. And if 2K plans on continuing to make Duke Nukem games in the future, I expect they won't take, you know, 12, 14 years to come out, and they'll be a lot better, so respect for that. Another problem that I have with Duke Nukem Forever is the variation in weapons. And it's sad that the shotgun is basically one of the best guns throughout the whole game compared to some of the other more crazy weapons you get. Throughout Duke Nukem Forever, you will experience a bunch of puzzles. Some of them are frustrating, some of them are quite easy. And it's a good little mix-up between running and gunning, rail shooting, platforming, and all that, etc. There are also various mini-games that you can play in Duke Nukem right now. I'm playing slots. I do enjoy some of the animations during where Duke was rolling the coin through his knuckles, so that's a good little touch. And he also slams the spin button every time, so he's kind of a boss like that. There is also video poker, which I did win my first hand I played, so that was kind of a good capture on camera, so there you go. Thumbs up for that. And what else do we got here? He also plays air hockey, which I will show you in a second.
I've got balls of fail.
And there is also pinball, Duke kind of punning his own saying there. Once again, Duke not taking himself too seriously, which I do enjoy. No question the best part about Duke Nukem Forever is the air hockey in the strip club, obviously. And you do get an achievement for beating this guy 7-0, so note that down. Another thing I learned when playing Duke Nukem Forever is Duke becomes bisexual when he is drinking and he's only around guys.
Look at my ass. Do it now.
Thumbs button in the description box just for that camera work there? I think so. Oh man, the jumping animations.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing sexy back.
Another thing I really enjoyed about this game is the references to pop culture, such as Justin Timberlake right there. There's also Halo, which I'll show you later. Gears of War, Inception, Old School, the list really goes on. Another thing that really got me off is to be able to interact with the environment. So that's something that was Duke Nukem-esque that I enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
Definitely one part of the game that I got stuck. Some sequences in Duke Nukem Forever just do not make sense and were not as enjoyable as the last one, where I'd have to pull this lever, or when I try to open an elevator door you have to hit spacebar a bunch of times. I don't know. Not really a fan of that mechanic.
Oh my god! Duke, thank you. I'll go down with you anytime.
Whether it's other characters or NPCs dropping one-liners, Duke, of course, has a complete arsenal of one-liners himself from a little nostalgia from other games. And one thing that I will show you later is when you beat the game, you actually unlock a soundboard, so that's pretty awesome. This is just another example of a repetitive task that you have to do in Duke Nukem, which I wish you could just hit one button and it'll just do it for you, but you actually have to hit like A over a bunch of times, so not really a fan of it. As you notice, Duke was shrunken down in size. That does happen throughout the game, and the sequences, they're pretty decent. Some of the puzzles, when you're small, are actually pretty fun, but a lot of times it's annoying. Some really bad platforming in certain sequences in the game, like at the burger joint. One weapon I really enjoyed, especially online multiplayer, is the freeze ray, where you're able to point it at an enemy, and after so many seconds they will freeze, and then you can execute them or just melee them or shoot them with another gun. And that's very satisfying. But as I mentioned before, I do wish there was more variation in these crazy weapons. There's really not that much choice because the shotgun really is the best weapon, and you know, the railgun is also very good. So I was kind of disappointed in that aspect, like I said before. The AI in Duke Nukem Forever was also very average. It seemed like you'd turn a corner, shoot a few rounds, take cover. The only enemies that really seemed to pose a problem at all were the pig cops that would charge you and try to melee you to death. But if you had the shotgun on you, which you probably should because to me it was the best weapon in the game, like I said before, throughout the whole thing, it was really fairly simple and did not take too much strategy. The clunky controls in Duke Nukem Forever also did not help the shooting mechanics, so they felt not very tight at all to me. On top of that, the animations that enemies would have was very average, which made it hard to predict where people were going, so that was frustrating when shooting because I'd expect there to be some weight shifting or something like that you'd expect in a modern day shooter, which I really did not see in this game at all. During the entire campaign, I only ran into one bug, and even then it wasn't very game breaking.
I'm from Las Vegas, and I say kill 'em all.
Alright, Duke, yeah, nice one there. Alright, Shibs, enough with the campaign and all that stuff. Let's see some multiplayer. To me, the multiplayer in Duke Nukem Forever is a mix between Quake, Halo, and Counter-Strike. A lot of that is because of the level design and some of the weapons. The weapons from the single-player campaign do translate over into the multiplayer, so you can freeze people and melee them, execute them, whatever you want. You can also shrink people down and then stomp on them, which is also very satisfying. One thing I always ask myself when playing a multiplayer game is there replayability here? Do I want to come back and actually play this game a few days in a row? Do I want to get my entire fill of this game, or is it just kind of like you play it for a few hours and that's that, put it on the shelf and you're done? But Shibby, it's not fair that you're comparing Duke Nukem Forever to other games. Oh really? It's you know, fair that they had in a development period of over a decade and a budget of close to what other games have, and they're charging AAA title price, so you tell me. So that's my bit on not being a critical viewer or consumer. Moving on from that, you do have a health bar, which is your ego meter, and it will get knocked down and it will recharge over a period of time, so there's no health packs throughout this game or in multiplayer. It seemed like the hardcore of the Duke crowd kind of had a problem with that there's no health packs, but instead of regenerating health bar.
This place is kind of gross. Do I have to take my clothes off?
A great example of the crazy things the babes say when playing Capture the Babe, just like Capture the Flag, except a little different spin. In this mode, it was 4 vs 4 with no auto balance or way to change teams, so our team pretty much rolled the other team every time, which was kind of not fun because I wish there was more mechanics there to help balance the game in general. And also one thing I noticed was there was no push to talk, so everyone's mic was always open, and that was super annoying. When using the match browser for the first time, I only found about 6 games total, and I joined this one because it was the lowest ping, which made sense to me because lagging around a map is never fun. Which leads me back to the point of replayability, and will people be playing Duke Nukem Forever multiplayer in 1 month? Will they be playing it in 3 months? I really just can't see it, which is kind of a disappointment, so is there really any point of even playing? I don't know, just to get a taste maybe, but I can't see myself coming back to this game at any time in the future. This is the casino level. I definitely enjoyed it. Reminded me of the good old times on Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source. One aspect of the Capture the Babe I really did not enjoy was the babe will often put her hand in front of your face and then you have to spank her to get her to stop. And she's also screaming the whole time, dropping lines like, "Oh, Duke, you can hit me, but I can't hit you," and she'll giggle and stuff. So it just seemed annoying. Like, it was kind of like cute and funny the first time, but after so many hours, it'll just be annoying.
Ooh, I'm in another man's base. You gonna find me a playmate?
And this reminded me of Team Fortress 2, as you can customize Duke as you level up. You'll unlock hats for doing certain challenges, face and shirts. Rocking the pyro beanie right now. You also have your apartment that you unlock statues, paintings, game room things, etc., etc. as you level up. One thing I was definitely impressed by was the player statistics kept, such as distance traveled, sprint distance, fall distance. So that was something different that I've never seen in a multiplayer game. Kind of reminded me of Grand Theft Auto, so once again I was impressed. I also enjoyed that 2K added a Duke Nukem soundboard when you beat the game.
Power armor is for pussies.
And that is a Halo reference, not a Fallout reference, because when that line gets dropped, there is green power armor like Master Chief would wear. Some kind of pseudo Xbox PS3 controller.
That was fun. Was it good for you, baby? What about the game, Duke? Was it any good?
Yeah, but after 12 fucking years, it should be.
Is this a dream within a dream? Did this game really come out? Did this review actually happen? So you'll have to decide for yourself a score for this game. I'm not going to give you one. You can base whatever you want off what I've said today and what you've seen. This has been Duke Nukem Forever on the PC. I am Shibby2142 and I got balls of steel.